Oh boy, that's pretty bad. I don't have anything to put this on, so let me just switch sides real quick. That should be a little bit better. And I'm gonna do a quick recording of the assignment that I've asked you to do. So I'm gonna do this myself, and then hopefully you can do it too. Let me share my screen with you. And then I want to open Audacity. If I still have that on my computer. Okay, so I'm going to record this directly to Audacity. That just makes things a whole lot easier. Make sure that it's recording me. It says MacBook Pro microphone up there. That's good. Hit record and do a test, 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 test. And if I don't record anything, and I'm just quiet, there are no lines because there's no waveforms going on. Do correct spacing, make sure that the computer is the right distance away from me so it gets mostly me and not a whole lot of background. Sounds good. I'm going to stop that. The square is the stop. This red circle is the record. Now I'm going to go into this track, and there's a closed track here. I'm going to close that off since I don't need it. And I'm going to start all over again by reading. I don't have a book with me, but this will be just as good. Hopefully you'll enjoy my 1 minute of reading. The great thing about Audacity is that it gives me a timer too, so I can actually see how far I am into my recording. This is from September 2020 of Gentleman's Quarterly Magazine. If you are over 25 and want to understand the appeal of Travis Scott, there's no better place to start than Fortnite. What was once a free video game has in recent years evolved into its own contained universe in which hundreds of millions of players spend hours a day talking to their friends and pointing sniper rifles at strangers. Tweens and young adults are more intimately familiar with the landscape's nooks, crannies, and favorable slurpy swamp roof inclines than they are with their own bedrooms. Travis Scott gets all of this. He is one of the few people alive who understand the particular predilections of those vast millions of young people populating Fortnite's outstretched provinces. And so in April, as musicians around the world were canceling their concert, Scott, glimpsing a different kind of opportunity, brought his live show into the game. In a series of animated concerts, he appeared in 3D, rapping as a literal god, a giant shape-shifting deity who reconstituted the map of to his liking, and whose presence disappeared all the guns so partygoers could bang their heads in peace. Out of the chaos, a brief utopia. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording right there. So I've got about 1 minute and 36 seconds of recording, but I remember that at the very beginning of this recording, it was me just talking. So let me go back to the very beginning. If you hit the space and left arrow, it goes to the very beginning of the recording, and I can play that with the green arrow. I can actually see how far. And when I hear that if you are over, this is from September 2020. So I think it's about 11 seconds or 13 seconds in. If you are over 25. Oh, there it is. So 10 seconds in, I'm going to go ahead and click and highlight that. So it's just a click and drag, and then I'm gonna hit delete. And now I'm at the very beginning. I can hit the right arrow line, and that takes me to the very end of the piece. So I'm at 1 minute and 28. You suggested this was gonna be about a minute piece. This is okay. So now I have my voiceover done. I wanna make sure that I stay in between the positive and negative 0.5. So I want to do the magnify minus just to take a look at the whole track at the same time. So now I can see everything that I've recorded, And I've got a couple of plosives here. We talked about plosives earlier. A couple of plosives here where it's just a little bit louder. But here's a trick that you're going to be really happy with. I'm going to double click on this whole thing. Then I'm going to go up to Effects and Amplify. So what I'm looking for is for the amplification dB to be at 0. What this is telling me is to get to my sweet spot of 70 dB for the 0.5 and the negative 0.5, I need to come up 1.65 decibels. I'm just going to hit OK. So I'm at the 1.65 decibels, and right now, most of my sound is right in between that sweet spot. So I should get ideal decibel output. So now that I have that, fantastic. What I want to do is I'm going to do a file export. I'm going to export as an MP3, remember, because the MP3 is a much smaller unit. And I want to put my name in there. Delroyd VoiceOver to the desktop. I'm going to save it there. I can fill this out if I want to. I don't really need to. If you're going to be using this in Apple Music, you want to do this because it fills in the track as if it were a professional recording. So now I can double check to make sure that I have what I wanted on the desktop. There's Delroyd VoiceOver. I can just import that directly into my mail, send it off into Blackboard so the professor gets it. Let me stop sharing. And now we're back to that part was, well, okay, it's easy for me because I've done it many times. Realize that, yes, I made a lot of mistakes in that reading. I made some mistakes in the beginning, I made some mistakes at the end, but this is not about the edit. This is about reading for the right emotion. So I want you to read for the right emotion. If you make a mistake, keep going and just give me like a minute, no more than 2 minutes, because I do want to grade all of them. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully you'll be great. Stop recording.